this is the workout that I've somewhat like made for myself.
Okay.
Obviously I've got like things like this for extra volume on arms because my arm's kind of lacking, and I feel like that's just like to keep me like entertained
For sure. I
somewhat.
mean, it's not the end of the world to have a little vanity day, or
Yeah,
say,
yeah,
right, get a little extra workout out. It's
yeah.
not.
And then this is just what I wrote in terms of like questions for you and my
Okay.
like things I wanted to cover.
Okay, awesome. Cool. So let me take a look at the overall training program right now. So you got lower upper arms, lower upper, lower, okay, and then rest. How are you recovering? Have you done this at all yet?
Yeah, I've run this, but the lower kind of gets destroyed because when I'm working out at the school gym, I don't have access to like things like hack squat, those kind of things. So it ends up being more like Bulgarians, trap
Mm-hmm.
bar and like squats, that kind of thing.
For sure.
Um,
Okay. And then what are the tip? Okay, so I see this one has 3 to 5 reps on the second lower day. What are the typically the rep ranges for the other days? And is it all 4 sets for everything, or is it some are different?
so the 4 sets basically for the first exercises on each day, and the rest are 3 sets.
Okay,
Deadlift and squat are between 3 to 5 reps because I'm trying to build strength there.
for
And then
sure.
a lot of the other stuff is like hypertrophy based because my legs are like really lacking.
Hmm.
My upper body is pretty good, and when I put on like a decent amount of fat, which will probably be stored most of the upper body, it won't. I don't think it'll affect me, but it's the legs that I kind of need also for like the rocks and those kind of things and the scrums.
For sure. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So most besides the strength stuff, most things are probably in the 8 to 12 rep range. Is
Uh,
that right?
yeah, like something like seven to
Right.
12. Yeah, 6 to 12.
Seven to
Yeah,
12. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
yeah.
Cool. And then okay, I'm gonna just fire some questions at you so I can get a better understanding. What are explosive RDLs? Are those like banded RDLs, or is that just moving quickly?
No, it's just moving quickly,
Okay.
essentially.
No
So,
worries.
yeah.
Um, stress wise. Okay. What's a high leg press? Is that just like is your feet
That's
are
just
up
so I
higher?
can, yeah, just target my hamstrings more.
Okay, cool, cool. Stress, almost shrug. Okay. Cool. Broad sleds. Okay. So, I mean, it looks um pretty decent. So, typically, like what I'm trying to do right now is like filter out, okay, what different planes of movement do you have, right? So, think of like vertical, side to sideways, and
Hmm.
horizontal, right? So hack squats, and then I'm looking at like structure as well, like how we can optimize your structure to kind of get a little bit more out of it. Um, so this day, this I don't know if you can see my little mouse, probably not, but the first day lower, this is more hypertrophy focused with a
Hmm.
little bit of power in there. Is that right?
Yeah, mostly just hypertrophy. Yeah,
Okay, cool.
yeah,
So, a couple things real quick. I would put any sort of explosive or plyometric work earlier,
yep,
just because doing a hack squats, like you're probably trying to fatigue your muscles pretty good, get a lot of metabolic stress in there.
yep,
Yeah. So then doing that, going into your power work, like you're never going to be as explosive and powerful. Just
yep,
just because they're fatigued.
yep,
Like I know it's a different muscle group, but you'll have some central nervous fatigue, which will take away from how much power that you can actually like, or how much
yep,
speed you can get out of that bar.
yep.
Um, so yeah, bilateral, bilateral, unilateral, bilateral, bilateral, ankle mobility. Okay, cool. Um, that works. Yeah, so I would put. I mean, if you're trying to keep some like explosiveness, athleticism, like I would put like 2 to 3 plyometrics at the beginning of. You can even do before your upper body days. It really doesn't matter, as long as they're kind of getting in there. But before your lower body days, I found with some of our athletes that doing a little bit of like obviously your dynamic warm up and then doing a little bit of plyometrics and
Yep.
things will help kind of prime the system to be
What sort of
stronger.
plyometrics would you recommend?
So depending on the day, but typically I'll choose like one extensive plyometric, which is like pogo hops, like little hops,
Mm,
like
mm,
like single leg hops on a plate, forward to back, left to right, forward back, then a little jump, like things that are like more bouncy rhythm and more like ankle kind of dominant.
Yeah.
rather than like full body up and down, like you're using all the legs. Okay, so I'll typically have like 1 to 2 of those.
A
And
single
then
leg jumps that like that.
yeah, so I mean there's a few on my Instagram
Mm.
where I break it down a little bit. But like imagine if you had like two 45-pound plates that are like this thick or something, like a bumper plate,
Mm.
right? And then you're like on one foot or even both feet, just like hopping up and back, right? So you're on one plate, you hop up and down and then go to the side and then up and down, right? It's very quick, it's very rhythmy, right? Trying to be bouncy. You're not like doing a full squat trying to jump as high as you can. That would be more of like an extensive plyometric, or like simple
Mm-hmm.
pogo hops or single leg
Yep.
pogo hops. Um, Things where you're not getting like a lot of knee bend or hip hinge, those are going to be more of the extensive. Okay, we're trying to work our ground contact time, our rate of force development, and develop the elastic qualities of the tendon with that. That's why I say like be bouncy, be quick with it, because we're trying to work that. Then I would choose, so 1 to 2 of those, either up and down, forward and back, or left and right, and you can kind of break that up across the days, right? If you want to choose one for each day, you
Mm-hmm.
could do that. Then I would choose 1 to 2 extensive plyometrics. So typically I would do like one bilateral, meaning 2 feet, and then one unilateral, so like one leg. Okay, so one of the days you can just do like a standard box jump where you're trying to jump as high as you can. One of the days you can do like a broad jump, jumping as far as you can, right? 2 to 3 sets, 3, maybe 5 reps. And then I would make sure I had something like lateral, like a skater jump, banded skater jump, even just like a skater jump to a box jump. That could be one, or like side to side hurdle hops, 1 foot or 2 feet. Where you're trying to get up and over as high as you can. Those would all be really good and kind of cover all the bases for you.
Mm-hmm. So what I've written here, if I did one of these on each of my lower days or on an upper body day, if I did box jump one day, broad jump one day, banded head jump one day, and at the beginning of my workout, would that cover me pretty well?
Yeah, yeah. The only thing I'd add in those the ankle ones I was talking about, the extensive plyometrics. So just do you know what pogo hops are?
Like yeah, I
Like
think I've
line
seen
hops,
videos.
like you literally have a line and then you jump, you can go to side as quick as you can,
Yeah,
on
okay,
one
and
feet
then
or 2 feet. Just something like that, just to kind of work the ankle unit a little bit more, to help
yeah.
you with that. Yeah, just
So these forward cover me off pretty well.
yeah, they cover you pretty well.
That's sweet.
Yeah, and then I would get into any like explosive power work,
Mm-hmm.
or your like strength, if strength's your main focus, for
Mm-hmm.
that day. So like doing the explosive RDLs first,
Mm-hmm.
and then or doing the like squats, 4 sets of 3 to 5 reps, with that.
Yep.
Yeah, that would be good. I don't know if you guys do like hang clean, but you say you do trap bar jumps or different things like that. So you could always put something like that first, right? A trap bar
Mm-hmm.
jump, explosive RDL, kettlebell swing, whatever you end up choosing for that.
Yep.
Um, then typically after, say you have one explosive movement, right? Then typically I'll go into a strength movement. Um, I I like wave loading, but that's me. So one of the things that we do in our like hypertrophy kind of foundational phase is we'll do the plyometrics, kind of like I said. Then we'll go into like our main strength movement, which will do some wave loading, which is just, think of it simply as like 7-5-3. So it's like descending reps at different percentages, right? So it gets heavier
Mm-hmm.
and heavier and heavier. um, I like that because you get to work a little bit more of the full spectrum of strength. You get a little bit of extra added kind of hypertrophy in there, with
Yep.
the heavier, bigger set, but you're getting plenty of volume. So I don't know if that's going to like add a whole bunch to it. And then Bulgarians, line leg curl, standing calf raise. So you got 1, 2. Okay, good. You have a hip dominant and a knee dominant. Okay, that's good. Um, but yeah, so then after the strength movement, then you do like your hypertrophy work, right? So
Yep.
and then you yeah, after your hypertrophy work, like compound movements first, then break into like the single joint kind of isolating stuff, right? This is typically how I would want to go through it. And in the later in the workout, um, that's when you can start to take things like the hypertrophy work to like near failure or kind of failure if you really want
Yep.
to.
Yep.
Um, or you can do like tempo, right? So it's like slow eccentrics, right? It's like 3 to 4 seconds on the way down, come back up. That'll add a lot of time under tension. That'll add a lot of mechanical tension and give
Yep.
you a good some metabolic stress, which are all drivers of hypertrophy.
Yep.
So that'd be good. Bench press, or so I'm going to go to the second day now. So you have bench press, horizontal push, vertical pull, vertical push, shrugs, chest fly, supported row. And then you're doing your arms and other things there. Okay, so you have 2 chest movements, chest supported rows. I mean, honestly, that's pretty good. I like that. If like you're gonna be banging up a lot, right? Like hitting people, so I might throw in some like YTWs on that day, to work to work your mid trap, get your shoulders working on retracting back and like the pussy your delt. For me and for
They're the
the people,
banded ones, right? Like the to work like
yeah.
rotator cuff muscles as
So
well. Or?
YTWs. So basically, you can. I like to do them chest supported, right? And then you just kind of grab like 5, 10 pound. 10 pounds is rough, to be honest.
Yeah.
And then you just make like you bring your thumbs up. You just make a big Y, pinch your shoulder blades back, come back
Yeah.
down, T out to the side, and then a W or it's like a W with a press. Like so, you're on the chest supported. You kind of do like a dumbbell high row, right? Then you rotate so you get a little external rotation, and then we press overhead. Those suck.
So it's good for like the mid traps and then also your rotator cuff type stuff, shoulder strengthening.
Yep, yeah, it's just really good for keeping your shoulders kind of healthy and safe. You could do that a little bit.
Yeah.
I personally, when I do that before like heavy lifting and stuff, I feel way better.
Mhm.
So 2-3 sets, 8 to 10 reps of each. So just do all your Y's, all your T's, all your W's. I don't see a whole ton of core in here, but
Yeah, that's a good point.
yeah. So I would definitely throw that in on the upper body days.
What kind of
Loaded,
core stuff's good for athleticism?
yeah. So I would do some loaded carries.
Yeah.
So either front rack double, or honestly, some of my favorites is just like a heavy single arm suit, like
Oh
farmer's
yeah.
walk,
It's like
right?
farmer carries. Oh yeah. So that's good for traps and then the core, so I probably kill
Yeah,
two
yeah,
birds with one stone.
exactly. And
Yeah.
if you just have it the weight on one side, you're going to get some anti like lateral flexion and core stability, hip
Yeah.
stability.
Yeah.
If that gets
Yeah.
too easy, then you could add like a march where you're picking your legs up to get a little bit more hip stability.
Yeah.
Um,
Is there
those
any
are good.
is there
Yeah,
any hip flexor work I need to do?
you could. I like when I'm trying to get faster and improve some things and work on my like my hip mobility and stuff. One of the ones that I really like is like a cable hip flexor raise. So you get like one of those if you have the little velcro attachment, it's great. If not, like literally just put your foot in a D handle or one of those
Yeah.
little handles, right? And then I'll put the cable machine all the way to the bottom.
Yeah.
I'll walk forward, right? So then like kind of lean, and then
Yeah.
I'll let that leg go all the way back to where it's like mimicking, right? When you sprint, that leg comes back right
Yeah.
before you pull
Yeah.
it through. So I'm getting a big stretch and then I'm pulling it up and through.
Yeah.
I typically do start people off at like 2 sets, 10 to 15 reps.
If that's just once a week, would that cover that
Yeah, I
somewhat?
think once a week would be pretty good. Should be pretty good for you. Definitely get some rotational pieces in there, like med ball, rotational slams, scoop toss into the wall, or just like wood chops. Like cable wood chops are good, where you're like
Okay.
half kneeling, coming across. Those are good for you. Those, so you could throw that in. You could probably just throw that in your arms day, and then your other upper body day.
Yeah, arms. I'd like cable wood shot. So that's like what to like emphasize more core type thing, and then just build like rotational power and stability.
Yeah, everything you do on the field is going to have some piece of rotation to it. Like every stiff
Yeah,
arm you try to throw, like throwing someone onto the ground, like there's always rotational into it.
yeah, yeah,
Um,
yeah.
yeah.
Mm.
So yeah, and then like thinking like rugby wise, like on your arms day, you might do some like neck care, like
Ah, that's good. Yeah, next stuff. Yeah, yeah,
yeah,
yeah. That's good.
yeah. I just do like a few isometrics for that. I don't
Hmm.
really have the machine things to like do all that stuff. So
Yeah.
the some simple ones, you just get like a bench, right? So here's a bench, like you get off to the side and you're kind of like in a tabletop position, like with your
Hmm.
back, and you literally just put your head at the edge of the bench and like hold yourself with your neck, and your feet are kind of propped up backwards.
Yep.
So your back's flat. You can hold that, and then you can do the reverse on your back, like so
Hmm.
you're holding the opposite way, like a bridge on your neck, with your feet. Those suck. And then you could just do some like manual. You can either like lean into the side of the wall. These look a little funky, right? Where you need like a little pad, like lean into the side of the wall. Or
Hmm.
honestly, you could just do some like manual kind of neck stuff there to get some lateral flexion too. I need to add a little bit more of that. And I made a tackle the other day and I was like, oh God. But
Can
yeah,
I
once
ask
it,
you just a question about conditioning? Just
yeah,
so I
we can
can
get into that
make
for
sure to
sure.
get that before in case we run out of time. Um, so like I'm just I watched your video on like learning about the different systems and those kind of things, and I read an article on it, and they said like training that system's good. Like the one I've written here, the anaerobic like collective like repeat power
Hmm.
system is good, and it will help you perform that better when you do it. But in order to like recover quicker to do it again, you need to train your aerobic a lot. So like in a rugby game, if I made a big tackle, I'm really puffed. Should I be doing like long sort of like 25-minute runs so that I'll
Mm.
be fresher to go after making that tackle to do that again, or is it?
Um, I don't know what article that is, but so each like anaerobic versus aerobic each has like the repeat power and some capacity to it. So I just
Yeah.
maybe they're talking about aerobic like repeat power with that.
Ah, I
But
see.
yeah, don't get me wrong. I think 80% should be focused on your anaerobic repeat power and anaerobic system. And then like 20% should be around your aerobic. Okay. I typically do, and then there's like mix, you can do some mix conditioning. Because yeah, making a tackle, being in a ruck, popping up, and then going and trying to sprint and make a tackle and not be gas is pretty challenging.
Mm,
Um, so I like to do things where I am like trying to crush my anaerobic system.
hmm.
And again, there's also your alactic or your creatine phosphate system, which is like 0 to 10 seconds max ever, like get after it, right?
Hmm.
Um, so like some simple like things that I've been doing. Nothing's gonna replace like running out on the field and like doing the practice, but we
Mm,
can really start to condition ourselves. I don't know if you have like an assault bike or anything like that, but I'll pick, so it's going to be more of an anaerobic type day, right?
hmm.
So I'll do anywhere from 10-second sprints where I'm like really targeting that alactic creatine phosphate repeat power ability, or
Hmm.
I'll choose a little bit longer, right? Maybe 20 to 30 seconds, where I'm that one sucks. That's going to be mostly your glycolytic system. That is where you're going to feel a huge amount of that burn.
Yeah.
But I would do a lot of that repeat power, like 10-second sprints or 20-second sprints, and then you choose like a anywhere from a 3 to 1 to a 5 to 1 work to rest ratio. So
Hmm.
5 to 1 would be more in like the alactic creatine phosphate system, maybe up into 10 to 1 too, right? So and then as you get more into like a little bit longer durations, if you're really trying to work capacity repeat power, you can do like a 3 to 1 or a 4 to 1 work to rest ratio. So I doing that high intensity, you will one build your repeat power ability and you will build
Hmm.
your capacity. So repeat power, that's just like recovering in between those bouts and then also
Yeah.
keeping those bouts of effort higher, which is
Oh,
primarily
okay.
what you want.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay. So the aerobic, so these two systems that, if you can see them, I've got highlighted, they're the ones that I need to smash for rugby mostly. And then in terms
Those
of
are the ones that I
aerobic,
think are going to help you a lot, but I would have a little bit of mixed conditioning and maybe not just like straight aerobic work. So no matter what, our body will go into the aerobic system at a certain amount of time, right? So like you are going to be using your aerobic system during rugby, especially if you're playing, the full 80 minutes.
yeah.
There's just no way around it, right? So one way that I like to structure this is to have like a couple of exercises, maybe 3 to 4, right? Maybe 3 exercises that are focused more on the anaerobic glycolytic repeat power. So something that's like, I don't know, max effort, like as many kettlebell swings as you can in 15 seconds, right? And then to work the next like the next step down, working more with the capacity, it could be like, okay, now you're going to do a 45-second assault bike kind of sprint at 80 to 90%. That's like really challenging. Okay. So then you're like, then you're resting a little bit. You could choose another kind of exercise just like that, maybe more of an upper body or something, or a sled sprint or something along that nature. And then you'll have like the 2 to 3 minute aerobic capacity kind of work, right? So it's like,
Yep.
boom, boom, boom. You're working through that, and then you work through 3, 4 rounds or however long you want to end up making it.
How many times a week for that?
Here's the caveat with what you're doing. Like the more conditioning that you do, the more calories that burn, the more calories you need to eat to build muscle.
Yeah.
So I think at least 1, 2, great. But yeah,
I'm playing water polo at the moment, which gets me like a fair bit of like mixed conditioning, I'd say.
for
Do you reckon
sure.
if I do just one of this sort of conditioning with like this assault bike stuff you're saying, time per week, and then like a couple weeks out from season, like let's say 4 weeks out from season, I'll really start hitting the conditioning a bit more, 2 times a week. That'd
For
work.
sure. Yeah, another one that you can do to work these different systems, we have these inside of the program. It's a 10 by 10 shuttle, right? So 10 meters or 10 yards, whatever you have. And you get 10 trips. So down and back is 2, right? So just sprinting back and forth between the 10 yards as fast as you can. It should take anywhere from like 15, 20 seconds. Yeah. And then you rest for like 2, 3 minutes. Do that 3, 4 times. Okay. That's like more the alactic repeat power. It's a 10 by 10 shuttle. The next one is called a pyramid run. This is like a big suicide. It sucks. Okay, this is going to be more on your anaerobic capacity, a little bit of the repeat power, but not much. This is the full pitch, right? The full field. Okay, 25 meters, halfway, 75, full. In this one, you just sprint down and back, down and back, down and back till you finish it. That should take you anywhere from like 35 to 45, maybe 50 seconds, right? That's
and sprint it, and not like fast jog sprint, like all out.
You're going all out. Like you're trying to build your capacity and build right. You got to give it all. You got to empty the fuel tank.
Yeah.
The next one where you can get a little bit more is called a pyramid sprint, we call it. Okay, so it's the same beginning, right? Same beginning, but now after you've gone and so you did 25, 50, 75, full down and back. Now it's it's like a recovery jog back to the 100, sprint back down, recovery jog back to 75, sprint back down, recovery jog back to 50, sprint back down, recovery jog back to 25, sprint back down. That is going to get you a little bit more of that mixed conditioning around that area. Yeah.
Okay.
Doing those will definitely help. Those will definitely get you in shape. Yeah.
Yeah. So with the assault bike, would I do that after like a gym session? Because with this conditioning, should I put it on my rest day, or will that then affect my neck? That'll pretty much affect my next leg day, right? So I should put it after a leg day, do you reckon? Or
yeah, I would just put it at the end.
End of
That's
a
what I
leg
do.
day, yeah.
You're gonna be gassed in
So
the game anyways when you got to go all out anyway. So it's all good. Yeah.
so one leg day I'd just I'll rip into sleds, and then one of the other leg days do some 45-second assault bike, 3 sets of that.
Yeah,
That kind
yeah.
of thing.
So the two kind of assault bike ones that I like prescribe to our fighters and rugby people
Hmm.
is 10 minutes, 10-second max effort sprint, rest for the remaining of the minute, new minute, sprint again. Okay.
Yeah.
Another one, really simple. You do 10 seconds, then 20 seconds, then 30 seconds. And then you rinse and repeat that for 12 minutes. Right? So 10-second sprint, 50 seconds off, 20-second sprint, 40 seconds off, 30-second sprint, 30 seconds off.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, those suck.
Okay. That sounds horrible.
Yeah.
Wait, so do you go to get to a full minute then, or or you stop at 30-30?
No, you just set a time duration for yourself.
Oh,
So
okay.
you know what I mean? Like you're like, okay, today I'm gonna go for 15 minutes, right?
Yeah.
10-second sprint, rest for 50.
Yeah.
Next minute starts 20-second sprint, rest for 40. Next
Yeah.
minute starts 30 seconds, 30 seconds rest. Then you're back to your 10-second sprint.
Ah, I see. Okay.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Um,
Cool. And I just chuck them. Okay, cool. And then in terms of actually getting in the park, like is and doing some sort of like sprinting session, is that necessary?
to gain muscle or to be fast? What's the necessary for what?
I'm not like super worried. Yeah, I don't know. It seems like you advocate for it a lot, but I'm just because I feel like it should maybe include it. But I guess my biggest goal is just probably to get bigger because I'm already like I can run reasonably fast. It's more about
Mhm.
me just like hitting the line at decent speed, like so I can still like potentially break it and like how do you say like forces like power like it's like the speed you're at plus like your weight, that kind of thing.
Yeah. I mean, how many times are you guys out there running and practicing and stuff?
Oh, 3 times a week.
Yeah, bro, just try to max effort sprint on the drills, like to
Yeah,
handle it then, right?
yeah,
Like
easy.
I don't get 3 practices a week, so I need to go out and get another day to give my body that stimulus to stay fast.
Yeah.
So it's just intention and effort, right? Like be on the kickoffs or whatever, right? Like
Mm.
fucking full sprint, like don't jog down. Get your max velocity sprint on that type of stuff, right? Like
Mm.
but I think you should be fine, especially if you're like practicing 3 times a week. Typically, we want to do like speed and that sort of work um, a little before kind of that stuff happens, but you'll be good. You won't lose any speed
Mm.
doing what you're doing
Mm.
with that, which is what I want to make sure happens.
Is there are these supplements that are in here?
Yeah.
Is there, would you, I don't know if you, how much like, obviously you know heaps about, I don't know, what is your knowledge on like supplementation? Are these things I should include in omega-3? I've already taken creatine, but like, should I take more and vitamin
Yeah.
D3 and then ashwagandha?
Yeah, so I would say yes on pretty much all of those.
Yep.
Omega 3s for sure definitely help you with a bunch like inflammation and just recovering and overall health. Creatine, I don't know how many grams are you taking a day right now?
5.
Oh, you should be good. Should be
Yep.
fine. Just maybe in a couple weeks do a little bit extra in a scoop, but you really only need like 5
Mm.
grams of that. Don't really need to cycle off that either unless you want to. Vitamin D3 for sure. There's a lot of benefits to that. I think that's good. The only thing I know about I mean, I know I have some like ashwagandha I take. So ashwagandha is more about like stress management and then ipso facto like cortisol dropping and then testosterone coming up due to that nature. But I know
Hmm.
some people it has reverse effects, like it doesn't work quite as well.
Hmm.
So it just for you, yeah, you could take it. I think it'd be beneficial. I would say like ZMA will be a big one for you, zinc magnesium, to take before bed. Definitely helps, especially the muscle building properties that you're going for.
Hmm.
Um, But yeah, I mean that's all. I mean, then I take pre-workout to get going in the morning, but and protein powder. But I don't know if you're doing that or not.
I wouldn't do pre-workout, but I do protein because
Yeah, yeah,
yeah,
yeah. Yeah, you're
yeah.
totally good then. Yeah, some of the ones. Hmm, I'm trying to think. You might need, with how much training you're doing, like some like a multivitamin support. Just because I don't know what you're eating. The only thing with the multivitamins, you got to make sure like you're getting some good quality ones that actually can be absorbed. Because if not, like most of them, you might just be pissing out. Like
Yeah, yeah.
excess. But it's
Mm,
kind of more of a like, let me ensure I'm not getting depleted, especially with how much you're sweating and how much you're training.
yeah,
But I think you can get that from like, well, hopefully you're eating your veggies and we're getting everything as much as we can from Whole Foods and things of
yeah,
that nature, right?
yeah,
You can take a different type of multivitamins, or like get like a green drink or a red drink that
yeah.
has that in there. I
How do I
think
know to work? Because it seems like from what I've like seen, it seems like vitamins will like compete for absorption. So like even if like it's high quality, it's gonna be hard to like get them
they
onto like
do, yeah. That's the tough part is that it's like certain vitamins will compete with absorption. You won't be absorbing it even if there's 130,000 times the amount that you need, right? Um,
mm,
and they're absorbed differently, right, compared to food, and vegetables and
mm,
different fruits. With the phytochemicals and things that they lack.
hmm
So I'm a big proponent of, if you're eating a good amount of fruits and vegetables, and if like most of your food's coming from whole food sources, and it's not like McDonald's and whatever, like I think you should be good, especially with how much food you're going to be eating to build muscle. I think you should be fine. It's
yeah,
just if you start to notice anything um kind of dropping down. I know a good amount, but in terms of someone who's like actually qualified, like I'm nowhere near close on all the interactions that happen in the body, the different vitamins and minerals. So I do know a decent amount, but compared to say like a certified nutrition specialist or someone like that, like
mm,
they're super advanced. But
yeah, yeah, yeah,
you should with those, and just eating, you know good, like not eating like a 4-year-old, right? Candy and stuff all the time. You
yeah,
should be pretty good to go
yeah,
there.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah. Cool. Yeah. Do you have any more questions or anything I can help you with?
Um, I think that's mostly yeah. Just thank you so much, man.
Yeah, for sure.
It's it's just been that's been so helpful. Like, thank you,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, for sure.
thank you so much.
Yeah. Your lower day, put your broad jumps earlier or do it as a
Good
contrast
jumps early.
set.
Yep, yep.
Do you know what contrast sets are?
As in like you do like it's like a superset kind of thing.
Yeah, it's like a superset. So, like, say, it wouldn't work cut as well. Never mind. Or your deadlifts, you can do it with your deadlifts actually. So you do like your
That's good.
deadlifts 3 to 5 reps, right? And then you do your
Hmm.
broad jump. You get a little contrast, post activation, potentiation in there.
Yep, yep.
But you can't do contrast sets like strength or hyper type movement, compound movement into a plyometric if you're doing like higher volume hypertrophy work, because you're just fatiguing the muscles too much, and then you have poor performance. Versus if you're doing like a strength where it's like 3-4 reps maybe, you'll get a big central nervous drive and you'll like kind of activate the muscles and you'll still be able to perform pretty well. So, but yeah,
Yep.
other than that, yeah, if you have any other questions, let me know. I think.
No, I don't know right now, but thank you so much, man, for your help. That's been like so generous of you. Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely, dude. Just keep me posted about how your season goes and everything.
Yeah, yeah.